Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Hopefully you guys are having a good start to the week. In today's video, I want to go over one of the hardest dungeons in the game currently. It definitely gives people a lot of problems because it requires specific champions or combination of champions to be viable, especially if you want to do it at a reasonable speed. In this video, I want to showcase a team that I put together on my second account that gives me access to the highest levels at a reasonable speed. I'm talking about the Sand Devil Necropolis dungeon. We're going to tackle level 25 today. Keep in mind it is Force Affinity, and this is a team I put together that works perfectly against this team. We have a very respectable minute 40 as our fastest time, and 2 minutes roughly for an average time, I would say. The fail rate on this is very low. I would say it's probably 1 or 2% fail rate. Even if debuffs are blocked or resisted, it will not fail. It'll just slow down a little bit. I'll go over the team here, and we'll go over what I found out in terms of like nuances and things to pay attention to. But let's go over the team setup, and we'll go over the team builds as well. So we have Mother Cybele here. She was basically like written off for most people. She was a fusion in the past. A lot of people dropped her. People called her trash and so forth. But I ended up going for the fusion, and she has definitely found her way in a lot of content for me, at least for a little bit. So we have her here prioritizing her A2. I'll go over how this goes, how the sequence goes when we're doing the run. But she prioritizes the A2 and then second priority to the A3. It's only going to be one round. So Riho is going to prioritize her debuffs and then her cleanse. Septimus will prioritize their holy sword. So the way this works is Mother Cybele opens with the revive on death. The Sand Devil will kill everybody, and then everyone revives. Riho will debuff, and then Septimus will be doing the big slams. So in this case, we have two Septimus. We don't necessarily need two Septimus. You can use actually Armiger. Armiger would deal slightly less damage because I believe his multiplier is about half of Septimus and a little bit less. So he's not going to do as much damage as Septimus, but he will continually do his A2 or whatever. But he won't be as quick as Septimus for sure. You could substitute Septimus for Newt, so you can have two Newts in this place. However, you can see my Septimus here is very slow, 156 and 160, and I cannot justify using Newt in a 160 or 158 build. The speeds here I can go over. There is a slight range to them. I believe 154 is the slowest it can be, but I would definitely be a little bit closer to 160. These speeds I found work perfectly fine. I'll tell you guys during the run where it can go wrong if you're too slow. So if you're a little bit faster, it's probably okay. But if it's too slow, then I can see how the Septimus can basically misalign his holy sword when he is revived. So that's kind of like the reasoning for these speed tunes, is that he has his holy sword ready when he is revived after being killed. And the reason why is because you want to use the holy sword when the Sand Devil is sleeping. That's when he will deal his max damage against the Sand Devil. Riho is really important here. I don't think Riho is replaceable. She deals 5 debuffs on the boss, and we know that the Sand Devil takes more damage when it's under debuffs. Obviously, decreased defense and weaken will make it a lot easier for Septimus to reach the max HP cap, which is very important. The other thing that Riho brings is a cleanse. The cleanse and the heal is actually super important because the heal keeps your team alive. This is not an unkillable team, so your team can die, and that's one of the ways that this team can fail. I believe if Riho dies, then the run might fail because her cleanse will be off. But it really depends. I think Mother Cybele dying, 100% sure the run will fail. I think Riho dies, it also fails. If the Septimus dies, it will only slow down the run. It does not end the run. Okay, let's keep that in mind. So we'll go over the builds here after the run. I just want to show you guys the presets and some of the stats for now, and I'll show you guys how this team actually goes. So you have Cybele in the lead. The Brimstone is not necessary. I believe the Sand Devil will cleanse the Brimstone every time. You don't want War Master, so that's something as well I want to say right off the bat. You don't want War Master with this team. If you don't have 2 Septimus, you can run 1 Septimus or 1 Armiger or 1 Nut, or 1, basically any max HP champion will work, or you can run 2. There is a team with 3 max HP hitters, but the speeds are totally different. I found that this team works really well, just because my Septimus is not being utilized and the speeds are really slow and the builds are relatively obtainable without breaking up any serious builds on my other characters. So I found this team pretty good in terms of investment wise. Yeah, we'll go over to Mastery soon. Let's go over the run here real quick. So like I said, it's about a 1:40 to 2-minute run. So first Cybele will open with the Revival and Death, and then everyone dies. So auto. She does some swapping here, doesn't really matter. Here comes the debuffs. The swapping actually kind of helps with the block damage here, so it protects one champion for sure. There's the Holy Swords. The Holy Swords going off puts all main damage coming out. And then the Sand Devil wakes up. You see how the Riho cleanses and actually full heals everyone. That's really important because now the team will start taking damage. And once the team starts taking damage, the team can die. If the team dies, like I said, if Cybele dies, then the run is over, because her skills will probably be all wonky. If anybody else dies, the skills will be wonky and the run will probably slow down greatly. So, but like I said, with this team, the odds, the chances of fail is actually very low. There's not too much RNG that can happen here, even with things getting resisted and even with crits happening. The reason why Septimus is really good as opposed to other max HP hitters is that he's actually a strong affinity, so there's less chance that the Sand Devil will have lucky crits back to back or back in a row, for example. So if you use Husk and all that, the Sand Devil can crit, kill you at some weird time, and then maybe end the run a little bit more easily. Armiger works, like I said, although Armiger hits not hard enough, but he does work. So you see this run, it actually works really well. It's not like defense down just got resisted there, and you just see the Holy Swords do about 1/3 less damage, so the run is going to be a little bit slower. You see Riho here getting a little bit low. I will be adjusting the Riho to be a little bit more tankier, just because I see her get pretty low sometimes. So once you guys look at the base stats, the stats of Riho, you guys can kind of see where the low point is. The Septimus also, I had to adjust some of the stats on them just to beef them up a little bit to survive after some testing. So like I said, see, look here, Riho was getting really low there. So like I said, I'll probably beef her up a little bit. I'm basically putting gear on them these are like leftover pieces of gear that aren't from any champions. I haven't glyphed them up at all, so I'll probably do that during CVC, make this run a little bit, less sweaty. But as you can clearly see here, it's a 2:48. My best run is a 1:40. I would say the average run is about 2 minutes, 2:10, based on how many defense downs you get resisted and so forth. Like I said, Riho probably needs to be beefed up slightly, but so far I haven't really failed. I haven't failed with this run at all. I've only done maybe like 30 or 40 runs. I haven't failed yet, but I would say this is a very consistent run. So let's go over the champion builds here. Like I said, pretty straightforward. So we got Cybele here. She has to be in regeneration because she needs to pick back her health up. Accuracy is not necessary. I did put accuracy on her so that she's useful in like Hydra. It's good speed. Make her tanky. Start with 3000 defense and then just all HP after that. That'll be my recommendation. She has to be fully booked, unfortunately. Has to be fully booked. You can skip the A1 but the A2 and the A3 ideally will be booked. Masteries here, no War Master, guys. Went down to Iron Skin for extra defense. No War Master. No counterattack stuff. That's just going to slow down the run, so you guys don't need any of that stuff. So yeah, anything else on Cybele? Brimstone, not necessary, but I have Brimstone on her for Hydra. Yeah, so that's Mother Cybele. Riho, basically just make her tanky with enough accuracy to land stuff. I believe Sand Devil 475, I believe, is the breakpoint that you need for Sand Devil 25. So you want at least 475 accuracy. Speed is a reasonable speed. The rest goes into survivability stats, so HP and defense. Masteries here, I went down with Eagle Eye, healing masteries, and then obviously some mitigation masteries here. Fully booked, of course. You can skip the A1, but fully booked on these two for sure. I mean, Riho's a good champion. You probably use her in most places, depending, but she's a good champion. See, like some of my gear's not really leveled up, so I will be like maxing her out a little bit more. See my stats here again. So these stats, she was getting kind of low in some spots, so you probably want a little bit more than this. So just something there, or you guys can put her in regen if you guys have regen. Any way that can help her heal up will be helpful. If you guys have blessings, you guys can go for like things that mitigate damage, which is good. I don't know, maybe this one, reduction. But yeah, okay, so Septimus just damage. Like I said, mine is 158 and 160. I believe 157, 159 works, 158, 159 works, 157, 161, 162 will work. Just somewhere along there, you guys can kind of see there was a turn where Septimus will attack before the Sand Devil attacks, and basically that one attack will line up his Holy Sword when he is revived. So if your Septimus is not hitting before that Sand Devil attack, then you won't have the Holy Sword ready. Then you just have to speed them up a little bit. So yeah, I think the lowest is 154, but you're gonna have to check it out with the two Septimus together, because it's interesting how one affects the other. So 158, 160 works perfectly fine. Damage wise, you want him to cap damage. This one is not enough to cap the damage. 262 crit damage is not enough. If you have Savage Gear, put him in Savage Gear, he does a lot. This one's not even fully mastered, so it's my second one. He's not fully mastered. He definitely hits less hard than my mastered one, and this one is not fully booked. So no books in this one. You don't need books in Septimus. He's mainly there for damage. So if you don't have any books, he's just going to deal less damage. And if you don't have full masteries, he'll just deal less masteries. I do recommend that you guys go down the masteries tree a little bit. So for sure, get Life Drinker. He will heal up about 2/3 of his life with one Holy Sword off Life Drinker. So you definitely need that to help out with the healing. And then these ones are pretty good damage dealing ones. So let's see here. For defensive stats, you guys probably want to aim for 3,000 defense with about 47, 48,000 health, thereabouts, and then the rest will be all damage. That's kind of the only way that he can survive. If he gets hit a little bit too hard and early, then he's just going to die, and then your run's going to get all wonky. Let's see. So masteries, you want the defense tree, of course. If you can get extra scrolls, go down to this one, delay death. You take a little bit less damage, which is really nice. But I just made the bare bones, see if it works, and it does really good. So I didn't bother with this. You can see some of his stuff is not even maxed out, so it's all good. Not glyph, not maxed out. Here's my better Septimus. He is in lethal gear. He does max out the hit against the Sand Devil. So he's 160. He's 242 with 50k, 2.9k defense. These ones are pretty good. The Septimus don't really come too close to dying with those stats, so I definitely recommend those. This guy is fully booked. And then here's his mastery tree. Like I said, life drinker. I probably had him in some kind of other build, that's why his masteries are like this, but you probably want to take Grim Resolve instead of Heart of Glory, because they are not full HP all the time. They're probably more likely to be low HP, so definitely take Grim Resolve for some more damage, I think. Everything else, don't take any counterattack stuff, because that's going to slow down your run. Like I said, go down to delay death for some extra damage mitigation. And yeah, this, like I said, this is probably what you want for survivability, and then you want enough damage to max out your damage cap. So 4-man, no food allowed. If you only have 1 Septimus, you can use 3-man. The speeds are basically the same. You can run 3-man. If you have 3 DPS, so let's say you have 3 Septimus or like 2 nuts and a Septimus, you could run that, but the speeds will be totally different. And I'm not going to cover that in this video. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope that's helpful to some of you guys that are looking for some fast Sand Devil teams. It's actually a very consistent run. It's decent speed. And it's just kind of annoying that Sand Devil requires, you know, Void Legendaries or Ninja or a perfectly booked Aniri. Just like stuff like that. But you know, level 25 Sand Devil definitely helps. If you can do it quickly, it helps, because you know, it seems to be the Sand Devil time attack lines up with CVC very often. So at least you can farm 25 and not lose out on CVC points there. But yeah, anyways, hopefully this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you guys have any cool teams for this content, let me know. If you guys have any teams you guys want to show me in general, I'm happy to try them out. Maybe I can build them out. Maybe they're improvements for myself. Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.